Happy Monday, everybody. I hope you all had a good weekend. It's good to be back with you, getting into the Word some more this week. This week, we are going to be going through chapter 9, which is really just one big story of one of Jesus' miracles and then some reaction to the miracle. Little context, we just finished up chapter 8, and at the end of chapter 8, the people started to pick up stones to stone Jesus, and he escaped. The point being that the hatred toward Jesus from the Pharisees and the other religious leaders is really, really high right now. Just something to keep in mind as we jump into this passage here in chapter 9. Today we're going to be looking at the first 12 verses. So yeah, let's go for it. As he passed by, he saw a man blind from birth, and his disciples asked him, "Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" Jesus answered, "It was not that this man sinned or his parents, but that the works of God might be displayed in him. We must work the works of him who sent me while it is day. Night is coming when no one can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world." Having said these things, he spit on the ground and made mud with the saliva. Then he anointed the man's eyes with the mud and said to him, "Go, wash in the pool of Siloam," which means sent. So he went and washed and came back seeing. It kind of seems like the disciples have this understanding that any suffering or any negative thing that's happening, like in this case, this guy being blind, is a result of some sin. You know, they just assume, hey, here's a blind guy. Obviously somebody sinned, or he sinned, or his parents sinned, that caused this blindness to happen. And Jesus says, no, he didn't sin. His parents didn't sin to cause this to happen. This happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him. Now, sin has negative consequences. I don't think that Jesus is just saying, overall, generally, that sin does not result in some kind of suffering. I think he's just saying, hey, in this case right here, that's not why this guy's blind. And then we see the story of the actual miracle. So interesting, he spit on the ground and made mud, and then anointed the man's eyes with the mud. I think it's so cool that he used mud. And it reminds me of how God created man in the very beginning in Genesis. That he created Adam from the dust. And we know that Jesus was there. We saw in the very beginning of John, in the beginning, Jesus was there. He is the God of creation as well. But he puts the mud on, tells the dude, go wash off in this pool. And after he did, he came back seeing. Nothing short of a miracle here from Jesus. The neighbors and those who had seen him before as a beggar were saying, "Is this not the man who used to sit and beg?" Some said, "It is he." Others said, "No, but he is like him." He kept saying, "I am the man." So they said to him, "Then how were your eyes opened?" He answered, "The man called Jesus made mud and anointed my eyes and said to me, 'Go to Siloam and wash.' So I went and washed, and I received my sight." They said to him, "Where is he?" He said, "I do not know." And then we have curious people, right? Hey, wait, aren't you the guy that was blind and begging? And it probably took some courage for this guy to say that it was Jesus. You know, surely everybody around there knew the reputation that Jesus was getting and the hatred that was being shown toward him. So for him to testify that it was Jesus who did this could possibly result in some negative consequences for him from the people in authority there. And we are going to see some negative consequences that happen to him from the religious leaders in the next section. I love how Jesus lays out the purpose of this man's blindness and this man's suffering when he says he was born blind that the works of God might be displayed in him. We aren't told how old this guy is, but we can assume that if he was born blind and they're calling him a man in this passage, then he had been in that state of life for quite a while, right? And Jesus says it's for a purpose. We all have suffering, we all have pain in our lives, maybe not to the extent of this man, or maybe so. But I think something that we can learn from this passage is that God can take any situation and bring good out of it, because he is good. Now, I don't think that necessarily means that every time God is going to do like he did here and take away the problem. I don't think that's how God is always going to operate, but it is encouraging for us to know that yes, in our pain and in our suffering, God can bring good things out of that. Maybe they're good things for us, maybe they're good things for others. And in fact, a lot of times as followers of Christ, our greatest witness can come from times when we are going through suffering, when we recognize that maybe it has a purpose and we can give glory to God through those times. Your challenge for today, I want you to flip over to Romans chapter 8 and read verses 18 through 30. There's some good stuff in there about suffering and God using things for the good of his people. Next time we're going to keep on going in this story. Looking forward to digging into it with you more next time. We'll see you guys.